5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're live with Neve.
All right, everybody. Here you are. Welcome to Live with Neve. I'm sitting here. I'm talking to Jody Porter, and he is from the band The Berlin Waltz. You've heard some of the other stuff he's done, and it's all really great and cool, and I love it, and I know we'll talk about some of that in a minute. But welcome, everybody. You're on the Live with Neve show. Julie, I see you there in the background. Thank you so much. Jules is here. She's live, and she's lurking in the shadows as always. There we are. Hey, Julie. Hey, Dad, Mom, everybody, hey. How y'all doing?
This is Elizabeth.
Oh, it's Liz. Hey, baby, what are you doing there? Lizzie Borden strikes back. Did she bring her axe?
Huh?
She brought her axe?
Did you bring her
axe? That girl's going around armed, man.
Axe. Lizzie Borden had an axe.
Lizzie Borden took an axe? Oh, no, she's going to kill me. She's reaching for it now. I can tell.
Yeah, my next stop was New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Good. I like that. I like them spirited, you know. Come on up. We'll have a good time. So, you're always welcome here, Liz. You know that. So what's going on, Aunt? You know the song that he's most known for, right? It's probably the song Stacy's Mom. And he's probably heard the question so many times that we're going to try and avoid it a little bit.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hey, Jody, nice to meet you.
So, he's a little quieter and softer spoken than I am. For everybody watching, I'm going to just do my best to ask some nice questions and let this gentleman talk to us about rock and roll.
All right.
So welcome.
Well, thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you.
Meeting, isn't it?
Yes, it is kind of weird that here we are. We're neighbors, kind of, and just strange how things come around. I met a lot of people in Asbury Park that way happenstance. Like our neighbor here used to manage Bruce Springsteen, Tinker. He lives right next door, and he's an interesting guy.
All of us love to get out of the city in the summer.
Absolutely. So let's just start with what got you into rock and roll? Tell me about where it started. First time you picked up or thought about picking up a guitar.
My father was a folk musician in the mid-'60s. I need to move closer.
Now I'm going to tilt that a little bit.
In the mid-'60s, he was a folk singer with a trio and wrote the songs. He had a deal on RCA Records. So there were plenty of musical instruments, including a Martin 12-string, which I've inherited, at my disposal, really.
Nice.
And that's where it all started. That and a couple of Beatles records.
Yeah. Seems kind of common with people in our generation. I know the Beatles and the Stones for me. My older brother would terrorize me for borrowing his records and then stacking them while I'd play my drums. Like, he didn't really care that I borrowed the stuff, but you know, every time he'd hear one go ka-conk and realize it was his record, I'd get kind of a whipping, you know.
I think it's protocol to put it back in its jacket.
Absolutely. Well, I've got about 10,000 records at my daughter's house in Florida. At least 10,000. I mean, it's a whole wall about the size of that, and I miss them. I have a turntable and a few dozen records, but it's not quite the same. Tell me, you're an analog enthusiast?
I am, but I don't really stay put in one town for long enough to set up my house.
Right, I get it.
I got a little portable one,
nice.
Which I used to take on tour, and somebody would have to drag it around and make sure it didn't get broken.
Yeah.
I did have that for a period and about 5 or 6 records. And I try and get more like new bands, up and coming bands.
Sure.
And it lasted for a while. Then I got tired of it and just pretty much went with my Pan Am bag.
Gotcha. Well, it's kind of easy. We all have so much music in our phone and video and all that crap. But I still tell you, when I'm just chilling, I like putting a record on, opening up a book, sit down, just listen and chill, listen to some good rock and roll. I mean, I also like to make sure I'm trying to enhance my neighbors' music listening capabilities. I think they were not influenced by Led Zeppelin enough. The second album in particular, I think. I'm doing my bit for musical education.
I got you.
The younger people, they've got all these things like auto-tune and things that I find horrifically challenging for anybody gifted as a musician. I really hate hearing those words. Maybe we'll just fix it. It drives me crazy. I don't mind fixing little things, but I like people to go in and, like, to me, the tightness of a band playing together. When you guys were doing your records, did it start out at that elemental live recording type thing, or did it always go from the...
There were 2 different scenarios for how we would work. The first one would have been to go hammer it out in a pre-production phase in a rehearsal room. Somebody brings in this, and it's usually sort of an acousticy, strummy campfire way. And then, once we got into the studio, we'd start to stack things. So only on a few occasions did we like have the 4 guys with the baffles like they used to do.
Right.
But there's one, in fact, the last record I made with Adam Schlesinger was with the Monkees for their Christmas album about 3 years ago, I suppose. And it was me, Peter Buck from REM, Scott from the -5, Brian on drums, and Adam on bass.
Okay.
And we kind of just went in there, didn't roll tape just yet. Tape, I mean, it was obviously Logic, but we did it old school is what I'm trying to say. 5 guys in a room, take 3. Okay, we got it. Off we go.
That's great.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
We high-fived after that.
Great. I bet. Peter Buck, does he still have part ownership in the 40 Watt down in Rome?
Well, I knew that he had the Crocodile in Seattle.
Okay.
I think he's moved on.
Yeah. I remember a long, long time ago passing through Athens several times. And I think Mitch Easter I ran into in those days. Sold him actually a big pair of Uri 813Bs from a studio I was working at.
For a place in Kernersville?
Yeah, those are our speakers. And whoever, I don't want to say anything bad about the people involved, but there was an engineer involved in something I was involved with where I listened to him and just went, there's something wrong here. And I don't want to be the guy who's like telling it when everybody says it's great. I don't want to be the one guy in the room who's a drummer and kind of deaf to tell him something's fucked. And it kind of was.
Very humble.
But I was right. And I didn't want to be like holding a knife to him to prove I was right. I just was going, you gotta just, I don't know, give it a listen, how about, I don't know, but to me, maybe I'm losing my mind, but there's a big hole between like 15K and 20,000K rather. And it just seems like it's not there. It's like there's a big fucking hole. Does anybody not hear it?
There's a big hole in the South in general, but they're one of the best people down there.
Absolutely.
And the next record I make, because I've made my last one, which is here, folks.
Right, here we go.
Waterways, check it.
Okay, let's get it up right up into their view. Look at this, people. And if you want to hear something good, put this on. I've only gotten to listen to it in its entirety once, but it is good. And who knows? Maybe we'll have him back on at some other date. Maybe you can play some of your new stuff.
Wouldn't mind if you can.
Well, cool. Well, I'll tell you what. Great. What we'll do is we're going to be going to a break in a minute or two. And during that break, we'll get a guitar going. Okay, people. We got 5 more minutes to go. So you started playing, you're in a small town. How did your parents deal with it? They gave you, obviously your dad being a folk musician, he gave you a Martin 12. You still have it?
I do.
I bet. What year is it?
It is early 60s because it doesn't have a truss rod, which is very strange.
Wow.
And I found that out sort of gradually, but it sounds just like my childhood. I mean, I remember hearing that growing up, coming out of the other room.
Yeah, right. Did Dad show you stuff?
He showed me how to play Buddy Holly, and I just took it from there.
Cool. Very cool.
A, D, G.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. I'm kind of a real aficionado. I like 12 strings, and I like zithers and all things that have more strings that are a pain in the ass to tune.
I do
But
too.
I love the richness of just writing a song with a 12-string acoustic. It's really. I noticed you were friends with Peter Buck. I know the late great Warren Zevon was also kind of buds with those guys, the Hindu Love Gods project.
That's right.
And I know I've been involved with the Warren Zevon called the ZCon for 5 years now. We're going to have our 5th in September. And we've got a few people from LA. Some of them I think you know, who are, I don't want to say names, but I know from our conversations they'll be joining us. It's going to make it a really good 5th-year celebration for everybody who's seen the ZCon previously. You know what to expect. It's getting better and better. We're going to have a lot of people actually from Warren's band and family and friends. And you've seen a lot of that before. Of course, all of our regulars and Brian McDonald, one of the founders, he'll be with us, of course. But you're going to be surprised, people. Okay, we have Jody Porter here. We're going to be going to a break. And during the break, we're going to get a guitar tuned up. And we'll see you. Julie, if you would, please run a couple of commercials. We're going to take a quick break, tune up a guitar, and we'll be right back live with Neve, 1/2 Roll it! Hi, everybody. Neve from Live with Neve. We're just having a little fun driver here, so please PayPal me / at Live with Neve.
Like a melting flake of snow this year, I won't be sad to see it go.
Hi, I'm Darren F. Flynn, a singer-songwriter from Ireland, and I'm on Live with Neve.
I would have said it couldn't happen here. The people we
And we're back.
We're back. All right. New York. We're having a good time. We've got this fine guitar. So, what do you want to play for us?
Well, normally I would say something of mine, but I think in this particular occasion, I'm going to play something by the Rolling Stones.
Excellent. I wish I should grab my cajon.
Help yourself to it.
I'll tell you what, play this and we'll see if you play some more. I'll go grab it in the next break.
You think I'm going to play Give Me Shelter? I could.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, I'm feeling strummy because this guitar reminds me of a guitar that belonged to Keith, which is
Yes. I bought it because it's cheap.
the Nelcott special.
Yeah. Childhood living, it's easy to do. Things you wanted, bought them for you. Graceless lady, you know who I am. No, I can't let you slide through my hands. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. I'll leave it there. I think this needs new strings. Yes, it does. Unfortunately.
Sounds nicer.
It sounds better than it could. It would sound a lot better with new strings, though.
I'll
for
string
sure.
it for you if I'm in town long enough.
That's cool. Well, so what do you do when you're just hanging out? You sit around and write a lot of songs, or does it come in phases?
No, I just sort of procrastinate. and smoke a lot of cigarettes.
Well, good.
I was sometimes looking for a bike.
Bike ride. You
You're talking
went
about
around
when
the
I'm
hills
here?
too? I was gonna say that Highlands, Hartshorn is like a decent place, I think, to kind of ride around. I once impaled myself on the front of a mountain bike. It was quite fun.
See, I don't want to take any more risks.
Me neither, mate.
Especially when it comes to I used to do this shit, ride down in Charleston, on my BMX bike, run down, from we're talking like a New York City subway, one of the main,
Right.
42nd Street.
Okay.
Where you have dry ice, black ice, whatever it is. And then you fall down the stairs.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I was on a bicycle and I landed it on many occasions, but the Evel Knievel era definitely influenced me.
Oh. Well, it's funny, that 6 steps of separation. I had several times with Evil at my gig. After he'd been injured, he retired to Clearwater, Florida, and there's a club on 19, which is all the bars are on 19. There were a lot of them, and there was an old guy came in, kind of a hot chick, wheeling him around.
What was he wearing? Did he have the jumpsuit on?
No, he was just wearing his Depends. It was kind of unpleasant. No.
What did he want? Did he get a drink?
Yeah, well, the thing about this place is called the Dogwater Cafe, and it never really caught on, but they would serve you in dog food bowls, your food. And all I can tell you, guys, it was a nice try for those of you who are investors in this. I feel for you, man. You know how it rolls. You roll the dice. Sometimes they come up your way, and sometimes it's fucking snake eyes. No, he'd come in, and he'd order his food, and he'd throw kind of obscure requests at us. We were a reggae ska band, and he was asking us to play things like from, I don't know, some country music, some Buck Owens and stuff. And I know I have a great resource. I played all kinds of music in my life. Living down south, I've seen it all, and living in New York. But I had never seen anything quite like that or the Elvis show that I played with. Needless to say, have you had any interesting misadventures over the years in your career in rock and roll? You have any stories about where, like, smoking or people who smoke too much? I know you smoke a little bit, but is that ever too much?
You mean CBD?
No. I mean, CBD to me is just like it's like ecstasy. It's like acid light. I mean, I'm serious. For all you people out there, you young people, you don't know shit. In the 60s, we had real drugs. Okay, kind of drugs that fuck you up, leave you like me, sitting on a store on a show. You just don't follow my path, kids.
This just went from PG to PG plus.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is this supposed to be PG?
Yeah.
Do you have anything any religious beliefs or anything we should shy away from?
No, not really. I'm sort of spiritual intermittently, but not really. I don't do organized stuff.
Okay, good. Well, I don't either. I don't go and bother people in the morning knocking on their doors unless I'm asking if I left my car keys there.
I mean, it could all change next year. Let's see what happens. We go through 2020. So.
I keep looking over at New York. I don't see any mushroom clouds, so I guess all is well. I'm going to have front seat to the apocalypse, people, right here. You want to be partying? Come on to Neil's Tech, man. Start hearing the air raid silence. The party's going to be here because it's going to be short but good.
You bring the mushrooms up?
There you go, buddy. Hey, having lived down south, did you, I don't know if the flora and fauna of North Carolina other than bears and rednecks, but did they grow there, mushrooms?
I wouldn't know, to be honest, but I know that there's abundance of them in people's possessions.
I know that
other than mine.
Well, you know what? I just think that everybody out there, instead of getting your COVID shot, get down south, ask some of your friends. Perhaps they'll take you out in a cow pasture. Being a New York guy, I moved to Florida and found out what mushrooms were the old-fashioned way. Somebody said, "Hey, man, try this shit." Sure enough, I did. All I can say, I kind of liked it. It was fun. Never.
You're opening up the gates to that stuff all over the place. Man.
Helps with PTSD.
I don't even really know what microdosing is, but without naming names, also one of the members of my band does that on the daily, and it's much happier as a result.
I know. Actually, we have someone very close to me who does the same thing, and I don't know. I'm kind of the guy who, if there's like only in the old days when people allegedly would do cocaine, I would just do whatever I had until I was out and then go buy some more. When it came to the mushrooms, on the other hand, I think you can definitely do too many of them. I've known a few people who seem to have inherited the cerebral structure of an orange, but they were a little bit more into the excessive use of hallucinogens than I would find useful.
I'm okay with just doing vitamins these days. That's all part of my past.
Cool.
To some degree.
Very good.
Didn't go too crazy with it.
Well, what do you do for fun other than play guitar and rock and roll?
Well, I can tell you what I don't do. I don't go tubing like on a river.
Good idea.
I don't really play
Biting
that much
things?
guitar unless I'm recording, to be honest. If I'm making a record, I'm doing that.
Anything new in the music biz that you find interesting, and
about the business?
just in general, like any new acts or people you think are coming up that might be worth listening?
Well, it might be new to you guys, but it's been around for a while. I mean, like the last Arctic Monkeys record. Heard of them, right?
Yeah, those guys are good.
I think they're good. The Strokes are friends of mine. We were just listening to their last record.
Cool.
That's a good one. I think a lot of shit got, overwhelmed by 2020, and a lot of records got buried.
For sure.
I mean? And considering mine was out December of last year, I was just like, it's got to go out now because we've been sitting on it since, May. It was mastered in May of last year. So it's just like you can't sit on that, otherwise
Yeah, I know from a band perspective, everybody's probably sitting around going, what the fuck? Where's this going to go? And
the band was me.
Just
Brian played drums on it, which I sent out for, but I played everything else.
Cool.
The band was like, well, we don't know what we're doing because nobody's booking shows.
Right, of course.
We just did a show in New York about 2 weeks ago, or maybe about 10 days ago, I suppose. And it was just opened up again to full capacity because initially it was going to be 1/3 with plexiglass. I was like, well, okay, we'll do that. It's better than nothing. And, like 2-3 months prior to that, we did the tribute for Adam. And that was no audience.
No kidding.
That's cameramen really... with the masks and all that. So it shows you what a little vaccine action can do.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you do that, kids.
Everybody out there, take a shot if you, and again, I don't want to get anybody upset. If you don't want to take the shot, don't take the shot. But don't, if you die, it's kind of on you. And if you don't, we're all going to die anyway. So, at the end of the day, on a kind of every day, we're kind of dying a little bit. But I don't know. I plan on sticking around at least 140 so I can irritate people as long as possible.
Take those vitamins. That's the drug of choice.
Yeah.
B12.
So we're about to go to a break again. If everybody's watching, we're talking to Jody Porter, and he's got his new band, and his latest record was Waterways. I've heard some of your friends that you have, who you've recorded with and talked to, speak very highly of the record. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in just about 2-3 minutes.
Let's do it.
All right, you're live with Neve. 1:30. We'll see you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Roll it. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, this is Leland Sklar, and I am hanging with Neve, and I am having the best time of my life.
Live with Neve, Fridays on the East Coast from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
I'm Neil from Live with Neve. We have an exciting connection for our veterans, country music fans, and there is something for everyone. Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. That's right, we've partnered with Gone Country Hats at GoneCountryHats.com. See you soon. All right. Here we are. You're live with Neve. I'm sitting here talking to Jody Porter. Have a few friends in the background who are just out of camera range. And I was just spent the break yelling at my crack technical staff. They're just slacking off. Julie, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about myself, love. Julie's out there going, what the hell? Who's ragging on the technical staff today? You don't get paid enough for that shit, do you? I can't hear you, girl.
Hold on. I said you can rag on it all you want. If I had any control over or more control over it, you wouldn't have to. So go ahead, rag away. It's not.
Oh, what hell? Don't worry, we'll remember that at the next bonus meeting.
Oh, okay. Please do.
I know you're just laying in wait to give me good ass kicking on that one, babe. All right, so here we are, Julie. Before you go away, do you have any questions for Jody you'd like to while you're here?
Actually, Jody, I wanted to know, what when you guys, what really inspired you guys to go in the direction you went in with Fountains of Wayne?
Well, I think we've always had a common point with wanting to make songs that were catchy enough to be on the radio, but improve what was out there. Because you got to remember when kids our age were growing up, it was some of the worst FM fodder, like really watered down stuff. Boston and all Kansas and crap like this. So we wanted to go more a little bit like Big Star or, Cheap Trick, which were radio friendly, but still had Beatles hooks to them. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of where it was coming from.
That's awesome. Yeah. Great answer. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could definitely hear the influences in there.
It's got the melody thing happening, and it's what do they call it? Power pop.
You like Todd Rundgren?
I do indeed.
I could definitely tell hearing your latest record. I picked up on that vibe.
Yeah, I mean he's a Beatlemaniac, whether he knows it or not. I know him and Lennon had a little row in the '70s.
Right.
You know that?
Yeah. Go ahead and tell everybody who hasn't heard that story.
Well, I wasn't involved, but I read it, and it's pretty brutal. The retort, anyway, from Tom.
Go ahead, fill us in.
Well, Todd Rundgren wrote some article in Melody Maker, which is a British publication, a weekly, and he said that the Beatles were not revolutionary and had, sort of reached their sell-by date or something like that. So Lennon comes back, and it's just the most poetic diss of all the times.
Yeah.
You can look it up, Lennon, Rundgren, and it comes up. And I'm pretty sure they must have made up because they had respect for each other. And I was in an elevator with Todd Rundgren in Japan at the Fuji Fest one time. And he had like the yellow and blue haircut.
Right.
And I talked to him for a minute, and he seemed like a pretty nice guy. And then I think he had a sound check to do or something. So I wandered off to catering, as I often do.
Mm-hmm.
Stuffed myself full of Snapple.
Yes. Good to find some little bit of New Jersey over in Tokyo.
And
Yeah, man. Well, cool. I know listening to your older things, Fountains of Wayne stuff. I also, how did you guys meet and start?
Okay.
You seem to have must obviously have liked the same influences because it's very good.
We were close enough, and a lot of people were less diverse as far as I'm drum and bass. I'm strictly jungle or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Doing these days. We grew up on the radio. Basically, we grew up on the Beatles and the British Invasion stuff. I branched out maybe a little more than the others because they were pretty set in their ways of what they wanted to do, and I just kind of went along with it. I would have gone more I would have taken it to an extremist psychedelic level had I been given the opportunity.
Right.
But they wanted to keep it kind of tight, and we all loved the knack. That was something that we bonded on very early on.
Mm-hmm. I could hear that.
Yeah,
for sure. That's cool. Well, I'm looking. We've got 10 more minutes. You sure you don't want to play another song or anything? Even though it's a little.
Why don't you play one?
Pardon?
Why don't you play one?
Play
one of my songs.
I don't think we're going to do that today. Oh, man.
I might be able to give you a verse and a chorus. I think you're going to play that.
Actually, everybody, let's give a listen to Fountains of Wayne. And I think you're going to like this tune. I know I did. about where we're at, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, that's the next cross. Seabright.
Seabright is around here.
It's right just 2 miles down the road.
I can tell Adam's from Jersey. Should be able to write this sort of lyric.
Fountains of Wayne. Talking to Jody Porter here. Yeah, I kind of. Do you like XTC? Yeah, I love XTC. Fabulous band.
I'm not sure I answered your question about how we met.
Yeah,
You want to give me a part two on that?
sure, man.
So yeah, as far as this record, many, many years after we were in my band that came back from England,
Right.
and I got a record deal in England when I was like 19, met Adam, and he was just getting started with songwriting at that point.
How old were you guys?
Early 20s.
Okay.
He was always 1 year older. But and he comes from New York City to our house in Connecticut after we had gotten this sort of posh house. We were going to build a studio. It was on a lake in Candlewood Lake, New Fairfield, Connecticut. So he'd drive up maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Excuse me. That's all right. And we put him on, rehearsal duties and didn't do a whole lot. We did all our business back in England, where we were prior to the 3 years before we met. But that's when we met. And then, I don't know, about 2 or 3 years went on, and I packed up the plantation and moved down south, basically just to have a little bit more peace and a little bit distance from the music business, because I was going to write a record, which I did. And then, he calls me up in '96, sometime in February, I suppose. And by the summer, we were roommates. And then the record came out, I think, in the fall. And I really didn't know how it would, two weeks, which I was thinking it would be a tour of 2 weeks, would turn into 2 decades. But it did. That's cool. I'm glad it did. Yeah.
You guys, how often do you like talk and see what's going on with each other? You still fairly close, or distance?
I talked to him from the sky, brother.
Cool.
But yeah, we're still close.
That's good. That's good. What are you doing now? Where are you going from here?
Well, I'm going to do a show in Lancaster, PA, after we do a little live thing for FMU.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite stations, no doubt. And with that said, I think we're going to just kind of do some regional stuff this summer. And pretty much think, or maybe it's too early for me to say this, but once I start getting the titles lined up in my phone, I'll start hearing them. Like,
Gotcha.
have to write. It's like a crossword puzzle, I guess.
You have a big backload of stuff, like, journals full of crap, anything like that, or you just go in? You said you procrastinated that.
So a minor backlog of songs. I might have 4 that are decent enough to revisit. In fact, on this new record, Waterways, I was able to resurrect some sort of riffs that may have gone back to Y2K. And I was like, this is a good riff, but it's too good for me to try and do it right now. 20 years later, and it's...
You remember how weird it was, the whole Y2K thing? I found it, I don't know. I have to say, I was at a club as the hour went by, and I just made some comment. I was like, well, we're all still here. My wireless mic's working. I think we're going to be okay. All these... You're a New York guy. I know about 5 years ago there was a group I was in, had to be walking around Times Square for some god-awful reason. And there was a bunch of people who had sold all their shit and come to New York. Well, I was just walking with a friend of mine, and both musicians. We make fun of literally anything we can. I know everybody doesn't do that, but I don't know. I've always been the guy getting beat by the nuns for bad jokes. And yeah, I told them I didn't think that was bad. I thought that was a good joke, and they'd give me another couple. There was a guy, he's out there with this group, and I said, "Did you really sell your home?" And he goes, "Yeah, I did, This is it. Jesus is coming." I'm like, "Well, I don't see him on the big screen and no advertising yet." Usually they know these things ahead of time, and he didn't find humor in my story. So I went on my way. But as we left, I said to my friend, I go, only in New York, these people moved here from wherever they were out, somewhere out in, I don't want to say Illinois.
Billings, Montana.
Yeah, Billings, Montana, which even that sounds too nice. Wherever they were, they sell everything. They come to New York. They give all their money to the guy. And it was supposed to happen over 2 weeks. And you'd see like one or two of them dwindling off. But I mentioned that I'll bet there's some other group who's going to tell you they're going to come out next week. They're going to be bitching over there, and they're going to say, they got the date wrong. Promise you. My buddy's like, yeah, forget it. A couple of weeks later, I'm watching the news. Sure enough, there's some bonehead taking issue. And so you got the priest from group one, or not a priest, he's a preacher, I guess they would call him in the parlance of the South. He was a preacher. Anyway,
I've heard priest. Maybe that's the hoity-toity version.
Yeah, that's like the Catholic version. Down south, some of them pass snakes. They do all kind of fun stuff. But sure enough, there was a couple of people arguing their theology over the date now, which I have to give them credit because that is some fine ciphering, as they'd say down south as well. They ciphered that up from reading the Bible. A date, a time, and I give them credit because I couldn't do it. I just have no idea.
If you look at the front cover of my LP record, it's photoshopped. I just want to let everybody know that I didn't actually walk on the water.
Oh, okay. You did just it was only photoshopped. You're not having any.
It was actually up a driveway, but then we overdubbed the water.
Well, do you have any ideas like for world domination with religion or anything?
Yeah.
No. Okay, too bad. I mean, look at Scientology. No offense to any of you Scientologists. I don't want to be kidnapped, be locked in a basement somewhere. But Scientologists have frequently tried to recruit me over the course of my life, just by proximity. They love musicians.
Don't you have to have a lot of money for that?
Yeah, that's the problem. That's where they kind of cut me out. Once they did a little auditing and saw my financial,
made you want to do it again.
Yeah, I was like hoping I'd be hanging out with Tom Cruise and John Travolta to find out what they're doing for this money. But that's another story for another time. Julie, are you there, baby? Well, we're coming up on quarter till 4 o'clock. Jules, how you doing? Why don't you take over the next half of this episode?
No, you guys are doing fine.
Let me ask you, are you microdosing today?
No.
You swear?
Are you?
Probably. It's possible.
Huh?
It's possible.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you enjoy that.
Have you noticed any unusual antics in my abilities to talk?
Well, I know I can't see you at all, and I can barely hear you.
You can't see me? Oh.
I can't hear you, and I can't see you.
You can't hear me?
Well, now I can hear you now that you're closer to the video pad, but yeah.
Okay.
I can't hear you guys at all.
You can't hear us at all. Well, that bodes ill for our fans. I can't really see how many people have joined us. I probably don't want to know. I know I didn't put out any cologne. I haven't bathed since I went and planted plants, went over and assisted my friend's friend with her stereo. And she's gone. Where'd you go? So it's quarter of. You know what that means?
Rolling out?
Time to roll some kind of shit that's supposed to bring us a few cents, shekels, whatever. I don't care. We'll take it in anything. Yen. I prefer yen, actually.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
In fact, I'll take a timeshare in Tokyo. I just want to get back to the electric ass facial that the toilets have over there. It's fascinating.
It's awesome. I still can't see you.
Well, do you hear the voice?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let's go to the break then and sell some shit, and then I can bring them back, and I'm going to try and strong arm them into playing another tune on my out-of-tune fucked up guitar.
Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, I'm international singer-songwriter Hira, and I'm on Live with Neve. See you guys soon.
Hi, I'm trumpeter Greg Adams, and I'm live with Neve.
Hi, everybody. Neve from Live with Neve. We're just having a little fun driver here, so please PayPal me / at Live with Neve. Label on it. You
And we're back.
15,000 plays.
So, you guys ready to play?
If I can get this thing in tune, I'll give you like a verse and a chorus.
You guys all good? We're back.
I think these guitar strings are older than the guitar.
Maybe.
We're getting
Actually, I know my guitar player changed them for me.
and we'll be hearing
It's been abused by everybody.
Comes into vintage.
So yeah. Should I make a dog symbol? I don't know. Shadow people. I don't know how to do that.
Are you voguing over there?
Yeah, I am. Vogue, 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 Vogue. Okay, I guess they're done now. There we go. Ah, there we go. Yay.
Oh, man. I do. Hey, everybody, these strings will be available touched and sweated on by Jody Porter. $99. 50% of it goes to the Society for Detuned Guitars. Coming right back at you, Jody Porter. Hey, Toby, what are you doing? My girl from LA. Toby Juan Kenobi, Susan Fine, Upper West Side girl. I love to see some of my regulars showing up here.
Wow. It feels like a ukulele with electric strings.
Yeah, it kind of is a ukulele with electric strings. Well, that exercise in trying to tune up an old, some things just can't be fixed. And
I'll fix it.
yeah, man, I'll have to.
Truss rod adjustment, new strings, you're good to go.
There you go. The truss rod.
Atlantic Highlands humidity in the air.
Oh, it's got to be. Yeah, it's like probably the humidity today is 100%, I'm guessing. At any rate. So when you gig live, you use your 12 string. You don't carry the Martin on the road, do you?
I don't really play that much acoustic on the new shows.
I see.
And with Fountains, I only played on a few songs. So I was pretty much the lead guitar player. But I'll take an electric 12 out.
Cool. What do you usually use?
I like a Fender Electric 12. And
oh, yeah.
I also have some Rickenbackers, but
very cool.
They don't really respond too well for the
I'm curious.
100-degree temperature.
Oh, right.
Like this.
Right. I know the guys in REM must have bought all of the vintage 12s and fire glows and stuff out there. I know I've seen them. They have a bunch of them.
Peter has quite a few of the black and white. 360s.
Mm-hmm. So you're playing in Lancaster, PA?
That's right.
2 weeks.
31st, I think it is.
Okay. And what is the occasion again?
You call it a little warm-up gig, but it's a friend of mine who I've worked with a little bit. She's got a band that she's pretty excited about working on their new record.
Great.
And we talked about doing something just, because it's in the radius where everybody can reach.
Sure.
My band is a bit geographically challenged.
Where do the other guys live?
You got somebody in Northern Virginia. We got a Secaucus and we got a Brooklyn.
Okay. That is kind of hard to achieve in a range of practice because everybody's got to.
It's easier than it was, especially when I was in LA or down south in North Carolina where I made the record. So there's been some challenges, but we always seem to get together and do a nice little run.
I noticed a picture of one of my favorite artists that you seem to know, Joni Mitchell. Mm-hmm. Tell me about Joni.
Joni's an interesting lady and a great painter, which is all she does now.
Right.
And as many times I go to her house and say, let's do a record. No, I'm just going to keep painting. I can't deal with the music business. But she's a good friend of mine. I've known her for quite a while.
Well, I've grown up just loving on Joni since I was a kid. And I learned playing drums on lots of her records. And
That's
I've always
technical shit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really cool shit. And she's changed over time.
Steve Gadd play on most of that stuff?
Steve Gadd, John Guerin, the guy who plays with Pat Metheny played with her.
Yeah, that's complicated.
It's I love that period of time when she had Jocko and she was playing all that. Furry Loves the Blues, one of the songs I really enjoy. Coyote.
Speaking of Jocko, my friend Robert Trujillo from Metallica.
Oh yeah, okay.
Well, he and I played a gig, and in fact, Joni came, and she had sort of gotten this Howard Hughes type reputation of being a recluse, and she didn't go out, but she'd go to a restaurant with me and my friend Matt. Long story short, she came out in public, and it was almost like a mob scene. Lemmy was there. He was like, yeah, he was like, oh my God, it's Joni Mitchell. So just her presence had this thing. But anyway, me, Trujillo, Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction on drums, and Doug Pinnick did this thing at the House of Blues, which was a tribute to John Entwistle, who was also a friend of mine. I recorded back in England at his place. And it was a fitting thing. It was bass and drums kind of show.
Cool.
So I got in there and we did, I think, Long Live Rock and something, a couple others, I think. But Joni's there, Lemmy's there. And my girlfriend at the time was a photographer, but she didn't know who Lemmy was. I think she thought he was part of the road crew.
I know that. I don't think you'd find that.
Make sure you get Lemmy into frame. I already know Joni. We have plenty of pictures.
Yeah, right.
No, but she's amazing, and I wish I could play her music, but I told her it's over my head, and I'm not that. With all due respect.
Well, I read an interview with one of her guitar techs and with her, and this had to be 10, 12 years ago, and it was back when she was still. I think she was at that point had done or was thinking about doing her last tour, whatever that was, a long time ago. But I kind of found it interesting that she said during the rehearsal she couldn't remember what keys the tunes were because she changed tuning so many times over the decades. She kind of just, like everybody, if you asked me to play something I worked on and wrote 20 years ago, I'd sit down and play it. But I might miss a verse or, just the first time you sit down, it might not be that perfect memory, especially if you start talking in a lot of different open tunings.
She gave me the book, with all that white book.
Right.
All the open tunings in it.
Yeah, and then she said though that her guitar tech from that tour with Pat Metheny was like totally helpful because he remembered he was programming a lot of the stuff that the guitar tunings, so that it was coincided with the song list, so the guitar tech knew what to hand off. But that would be
And I have a few open tunings, but almost every one of her things, and the Pulsar stuff. Something, well,
you like do the DAD thing or the Keith Richards tunings?
The Keith thing mostly.
Yeah.
And drop B, and then there's this weird one where the A goes up to, or the G goes up to an A, an octave, I think. There's some real Rickenbacker stuff out of that.
That's cool. I find it, I noticed you mentioned earlier you're aficionado of 12 strings, and I find any of the multi-stringed instruments, especially some of the more exotic, I have some things downstairs in the studio, like old dulcimers and not only dulcimers, but hammered zither. I guess that's what they call it. You hammer it when you play it.
Yeah.
Tuning it is a royal pain in the ass. It's got 60 strings, I believe.
I think you got to be blind to do it properly.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me one of those eye masks, and I'll try and tune this thing.
You want to try and play with the eye mask? I don't think it'll help. I will say that the guitar has taken an incredible amount of abuse. Yes, it is. It's got sand inside it from its last excursion, probably. But it does its job. It needs some strings. It needs, like you said, it needs the neck. I don't mind working on my guitars a little, but trying to fool with the truss rod, being a drummer, I find that things break sometimes, and I should probably be a little gentle and hire a good guitar tech who knows what the hell they're doing. Do you have anybody here local in New York that you use for your guitars? I noticed you have some great guitars. Who do you use?
Yeah. And he's got too much work, so he says, so might have to wait in line, but he actually builds me guitars. It's a business called Schoolhouse in Hopewell, New Jersey.
Okay.
And this guy is amazing. He's like fixed a binding on my 1964 Gretsch. Just, yeah, I don't know if
Really?
you know much about graduate.
Yeah, oh, I know that you don't want to.
Crumble because of the glue they used in the 60s.
I see.
So initially he was renowned for that, but now he started building guitars out of these, Douglas fir planks from the schoolhouse that he bought. It's really cool. It's, schoolhouse.com, I believe.
Interesting. I'll have
Or
to check
maybe
it out.
Old School Repairs to the other end of it.
That's cool.
Whatever it is.
Well, I appreciate you coming on with us today. We purposely held back the last break and stuff. I just more fun talking. We don't need to sell anything. I'm glad you came by.
Okay. Well, one more tune then.
All right. For everybody watching, we are with Jody Porter.
Something like that.
Something like that. That's all she wrote. All right, everybody, you've been on Live with Neve, Jody Porter. It is Friday, and the weekend is here. It's the 4th of July, so pick your poison, break it out, have a good time, love somebody, be nice, don't talk politics, religion, just have a great weekend. Drink your water, eat your food, have fun, love somebody, and just be alive. Don't be a lame stick in the mud. It's a holiday, have some fun. For everybody at Live with Neve.
Bye, Jules.
Oh,
Bye.
it's
Bye,
the
guys.
Jody and Neil show.
The
Bye-bye,
Jody and Neil
everybody.
show. All right, guys.
Have a
See you
good
later.
weekend, Julie.
Happy 4th of July.